Hi everyone, welcome to the first video of this build titled Black Gold Rain. So right now we're going to start with designing a template, and I ended up using only the neck here, so I'm not even going to show you what I did with the body. I actually tried to hand draw it and then I didn't like it, so I completely redesigned it. I am doing something that I probably shouldn't be, and that is working on three guitars at the same time. One is in the design phase. This one is actually in the middle of being built, and then I've got another one that I've cut out some pieces. I've got some ideas, and we're starting to move along with the actual shaping of the instrument. The other one that I'm currently working on that I've started should be fun because it is a neck through instrument, and I've never done anything like that before. So what we're doing right here is clamping together the body pieces. Note that I ended up not using this body that I put together. It looked very good. The joints are fantastic, probably the best joints I've ever done. But I found out after I glued it all together that the pieces were just a little bit too thin for the style of body I was wanting to do. This is my new hand plane. It's a number 6 plane. I am not good at using a plane. I'm just learning how to do it. I can't really read wood grain or anything like that, so we're figuring it out. But it did help with this process. I did sharpen the blade. I watched a lot of videos on how to set that up, and I'm not very good at it, to be perfectly honest. But hopefully we keep learning. So there I am gluing up some more of this body that is not used for this build. I should have just cut it out, I guess, now thinking about it. But you'll see at the very least where I messed up once we get to that point. So this is the first neck, and when I say first, it means I messed it up. I already routed out the truss rod cavity there. If you've watched some of my other videos, you may know that this is not the first time I've messed up a neck. It seems to be a common theme for me, and it usually comes with the routing phase or using the angle grinder, but the router is actually where I go wrong on the neck most of the time. So this is my new bandsaw, and it's fantastic because I can actually cut thick pieces of wood, as you saw right there. This thing is going to allow me to do a lot more. I can do necks that are one piece rather than doing a scarf joint for the neck if I want an angle. So that is very nice, and you'll see the neck angle here in a little bit. There it is. So because it's tall enough, I can actually go through the entire headstock there to get the angle that I want. I was having issues with my other one because it just wasn't tall enough, so I couldn't get it the whole way through, and then I'd have to get clever on trying to take out the rest of the material, and it was a huge waste of time. And there we go. All right. Now you get to see the dangers of a router table. This one ruined my template and the neck all with one slip. So it basically grabbed the neck, it caught, and then it pulled it through, and you gotta see my reaction. And there it goes. I decided to cut the film there, but I was very surprised, obviously. But as you can see, I was fine. And I learned a very valuable lesson there on how I hold my pieces of wood when I'm using the router table. So I I messed up a neck before using a router and a template that slipped, and now I messed up that neck and the template with a router table that I was not properly using. So there are lots of growing pains here with my growing arsenal of machines. Now we are on to the new neck. The thing I have learned is that I can rebound pretty quickly. I was able to catch back up to about where I was when I messed that other neck up in the span of an evening. So there I am cutting through everything. I'm going to take a moment to let you know for the Great Guitar Buildoff, this is not the guitar I'm doing for it, first of all, but we're going to do something a little bit different for the videos. I plan to have some candid conversation with a guest throughout the videos. So hopefully that adds another dimension and it makes it a little less boring, and you get some nice candid conversation while you watch this rather than just having me drone on about what I'm doing. Anyways, there I am using the router table properly, and this actually worked that time. This is the body that I am not using, that I am sanding down. You get to watch a lot of scenes of things that I'm not actually even going to use. Alright, now we are down to thinning out and shaping everything now that I got the neck cut out again. That belt sander is amazing. I can get so much done so fast. And we switch over to the spindle, do a little bit of shaping, get the outline of the headstock exactly where I want it. Shaping the neck with an angle grinder, and I did not mess this one up with the angle grinder because I have done that before, if anyone watched my last build. This part I always find to be the most fun when building a guitar. You just remove a ton of material very fast and you see the shape take hold so quickly, and I think that's what's most satisfying about it. You've got a straight piece of wood, and then 3 minutes later you've got curves and everything, and you can actually see what it is you're working on and what you're working towards and what the end product is going to look like. Well, hopefully not look exactly like, because if the neck looked just like that when it was finished, it would be garbage. But you get the idea. You can see your work starting to literally take shape. Once the angle grinder has done its thing and you need to be more precise, we switch over to files. More sanding, lots and lots of sanding. I want to get the neck nice and even and flat and straight. And then more shaping. I should have carved out more on the volute right there with the angle grinder, but I wanted to be careful, so it took a little longer, but rasps worked just fine. So here I am using a guitar template to make a guitar template that I am then going to use for this guitar. I needed something that I had already measured for the router cavities, so that's what I'm doing right there. And this is where I find out that the wood was not wide enough in the original body blank. And I decided to flip it around even though the wood is the same exact width on both sides, in hopes that it's somehow magically going to fit that way, and it doesn't. So this is where I give up and decide we need to switch body blanks. So now I am on to sanding the next body blank. Got my center lines, so now we're going to mark out the outline. Breaking my lead right there. That's a very common occurrence. I should probably be more careful. I'll blame the wood. It's very porous wood, so the lead catches. Anyways, we've got the template marked out on the wood, so we can cut away most of the material. Once everything is cut away, we'll be able to throw the template back on and then route it. I want to take this moment and talk about how much I hate Bosch blades. So that's a brand, and when I bought this bandsaw, I didn't think the blade that it came with was going to be very good, so I bought some other blades. I bought 3 different ones to give them a shot. Now, I have bought blades from this brand before for my smaller bandsaw, and they didn't work very well, so I probably should have learned my lesson that time. The whole fool me once, fool me twice sort of deal. But I decided to try them. They were a different size, and I tried some slightly bigger blades, and they were garbage. I couldn't even cut straight through a fairly thick piece of wood with the blades that I bought. So I decided I checked the tension and everything like that, and I decided, okay, I'm just going to put on the original blade that came with it and see what happens. And that not only cut it cleanly, but it cut the wood without issue. So my bigger blade that I bought that was supposed to easily go through thicker wood did not, and the supposedly worse blade from Harbor Freight worked just fine. So I have found that blades from Harbor Freight are pretty good for bandsaws, so I'm going to keep buying them from there because the Bosch ones I bought were absolute garbage. So because I ruined the neck template on the router table, the neck, I had to make the neck differently. So because of that, the neck pocket template that I had originally made on the guitar for the neck template that I ruined wouldn't work here. So basically I made the neck and then I'm making this pocket template based around the neck. There we're checking the fit. Yeah, when you ruin a template, it adds a whole lot of work. All right, we're going to throw the template on there and drill out the cavities and do some routing. I actually taped the guitar down to the table as well. So I used masking tape and super glue on the template, and then I used it to put it on the table. That way I can go around the entire thing in one pass. Previously I'd used clamps, and you have to shift the guitar usually about 3 times before you get one pass, but doing it this way I can go around the whole thing. I put the bit with the bearing on the opposite side onto the router table. So I went as far down as I could with my router bits and my router this way, and then I just flipped it over and went to the router table to take off the remaining bits, which you are seeing right there. This worked very well. I didn't have to switch out bits, and I could just leave everything set up. Obviously being very careful here. We don't want to have a second round of accidents on the router table. I'm using my body to help anchor there as well. Now that we got the guitar body shape cut out, we are on to the fretboard. So this is a piece of wood that I had that I'm using a bandsaw and a fence to cut, and then we're going to sand that down. So I'm going to end this first video here. I don't know how quickly I'll be producing videos at this point, since I am working on 3 guitars at the same time. I might jump to the other one and show you some footage from that, and then jump to the Great Guitar Buildoff and show you some footage from that. But I apologize for the delay for those of you who want to see more content.